Hello guys, so today we're going to do LeetCode question 3, which is longer substring without repeating characters. Given a substring S, find the length of the longer substring without duplicate characters. Example 1, string is ABC, ABC, BB. The output is 3 because ABC is a longer substring with a length of 3. Example 2, S is BB, BBB. Output is 1 because B is the only substring without repeating characters. PWWKEW, output is 3, because WKE is a longer substring from length of 3. So there is two ways of doing this. The first one is a brute force method, and the next one is a sliding window method. I'm going to show the first one, which is a brute force method, now, and then later the sliding window method. So let's get an example here on the whiteboard. So let's say the string is, we get a pen. Let's say the string is, why is it not? Let me write. Say the string is, let's say hello. First thing we do is loop through once. Well, first we have a max length variable, which we'll set as 0 for now. And then we loop through the array once, so first for loop. Actually, we can read this, we just go through it once. So let's say the first letter is H. Then we will loop through each other array, each letter in the array after that, and add it to a count, to count the length until there is a repeating character. So we have H, E, L. Then we get to, we get to L. When we get to the second L as a repeating character, we break the second for loop and we go to the next character. So we'll go E next, and it'll be E, L, again L, we break the for loop. Next one is L, we get to L, just O, break the for loop again, and the final one will be LO. So the longest length will be 3. But how this works is after we get to the repeating character, for each for loop iteration, we set the max to the max between the current count or the current max. So we always keep the longer substring. So let's go and do this in LeetCode. So, oh yeah. We also keep a set, so we add each character in the set once we get to it. So, for example, we'll add H into a set first. So then we check if the letter isn't set, and that's when we break the for loop. And then once we break the for loop, we reset the set to make it empty, so we can restart counting. So, for example, if I go into, we create a max, which will be equal to 0. Then we create a set. By the way, a set cannot include repeating characters, so it's perfect. It's an array without repeating characters. And then we do first for loop, so for let I is equal to 0, I smaller than s.length, we do I++. Then we set a count here, so it resets on each for loop iteration. We set to 1 because of the string I is the first letter of our repeat substring. Then we go to another for loop, let j is equal to I plus 1, which j is smaller than s dot length. Then we increment again. Now we check if set doesn't have s j, then we increment the count. And then also we have to add si to the set, so we add I to the set. So we add the set dot add si. So we have that counting. Else we break the for loop. So if we don't have set, we count and we set the letter, current letter, into the set. Else we clear the set, so set.clear. Then here we take the max between the current count and the current max, and we set it to the max again. And here we return the max. Let's see if it passes. Max equals math.max. Math.max. Let's run that. Okay, I'll give a couple seconds. Okay, it's b. This is equal to that. Okay. Let me check. I is equal to 0. Let count equal to 1. After that is set has set clear. Okay. Because it iterates through this first. So we'll set the max to 1. And then if the length of s is equal to 0, then we just return 0. This is because once it executes b here, it's the first character, count is 1, it adds the set, and then because b is the same, it automatically breaks without incrementing the max. That's why this one is failing. But now it will pass, as you can see, because we catch that error by returning 0 if the string is empty. Otherwise we set max as 1 for the first string, and if it does have a repeating string immediately, it just breaks and returns max, which would be 1. As you can see, time complexity is very slow. This would be O(n) squared, because we're looping through the array twice. The string length twice. And the space complexity is also O(n) squared, because we save pretty much the set. Not O(n) squared, sorry, O(n), because we saved the set, which is just the length of the string pretty much at most. Now, alright, so let's go through the next way of doing it. The next way of doing it is through a sliding window method, where we take again the string input, which would, let's say, hello, and then we take the max, we set the max value, which will be currently 0, set the left and the right, which represents the index position we're currently at in the string, which will both be currently set to 0, and then we get a set which is currently empty. So we loop through the string first, and we check if the letter is in the set. So first is H. H is not in the set, so we set a current counter. We don't need to set current counter, we just add the to the set. And then we just take the set length, and if it's longer than max, we set it as the max. So currently, set length is 1, set size is 1, and max is 0. So we just change the max currently to 1. And then we also increment the right value to go to the next letter. So they're both 1. Then we go to the next letter, which would be E. So we're currently on HE. E again is not in the set, so we add it, HE. We then check the max. Again, we increment the max, so now max is 2. And we also increment the right, which again is 2. And now, so we go to position 2, which is now L. Now, again, we increment the max and the right value, because L is not in the set. Now, here's the difference on the next one. We go to L, to the next right, sorry, I changed it to L. It's 3 and 3, 3 and 3. Now, because the next letter at position 3 is L again, L. Now, we remove the left value from the set, which would be H, and we increment the left position. H is because left is at 0, set 0. we increment the left position, which now will be 1. Now we iterate this again, so we'll currently have, we'll remove the E as well from the set. Just have it all remaining. Remove the E from the set as well. Left is now 2, and we go again. L is in the set, we remove the L, which is the position of the to left again. And now, as L is not in the set, we add the next L in the set, and L is also part of the string. So we increment the right. Now we check if the current length of the set is bigger than max, which it is not, so we leave max as 3. Now right is 4. Position 4 is O. We check O. O is not in the string, so we add it to the set, and we check the max. The set length is 2, the max is 3, so we don't increment it. We reach the end of the string, so now we return the max, which would be 0. Sorry, which would be 3. And let me code this out for you so you can understand. So first, take the max, which we set as 0. Then we get the left, again, which is 0. The right, which would be position 0. And then we get the set. Now, we do a while loop. So as long as right is smaller than s.length, then we execute. Because if right is smaller than s.length, once it reaches the end of the string, it will break. So it doesn't enter an infinite loop. Now what we do is we check if set.has s right, then we break and we remove that. So we do s set.delete s left, and then we also increment left to go to the next letter. Now else we set the max to the max between the current. No, first we have to push the current value in the set. So set or add s right. Now we set it as either the max length that we currently have, or the length of the set. So we set the size because we set use size, not length, and then we increment the right, and then we return the max. That should work. I haven't got Wi-Fi at the moment. Let me just refresh it. Okay, connect. Okay, max equal to again, sorry, math.max. Let's run. Okay, this passes. We submit. It should pass as well. Perfect. As you see, the time complexity is improved a lot. This is time complexity of on, as we only loop through the length of the string once, pretty much. And space complexity of on as well, because the worst case we hold the whole string in the set. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's the solution.